showtime. Dynamite download.
Dynamite download, your home for all positive coverage with all elite wrestling.
You guys, positive energy.
This reality, like, it is me. Like,
Who let this guy in here?
This is what pro wrestling's supposed to feel like.
I'm saying I have a better record than Kenny Omega and Samoa Joe, and now I'm going to have to wrestle them.
I've never seen someone able to break down, like, wrestling like he does.
I said, Mariah May, she said, who?
Because I'm so driven, and I'm so moved to, like, what I want to do.
Versus Brian Keith match.
it's awesome.
That's so cool. You got, like, these creepy ass dudes.
Oldest ride, longest line.
I was, like, deep diving into, like, cults.
My real story does connect with a lot of people.
I never say never about anything.
Yeah.
Back to do an interview with those guys. You know why? Because they spread positivity about AEW.
Welcome to Dynamite Download.
Welcome to Dynamite Download, everybody. What's going on?
Cheers.
Cheers, yes, cheers, by the way. You know,
That's water.
Yeah, we got the merch going on.
First and foremost, I got to say, welcome back, Mind Runner. It seems
Yes.
like it's been forever since we've been together. Team Dynamite Download. Thank you for our Dynamite Club Gold members filling in for both of us, actually. One week for me, 1 week for Mind Runner, coming in out of the reliever. Always welcome on DD.
Yeah.
But we're back in the saddle for episode 135. It's actually been more than that because I was thinking and talking to my buddy. I was like, Dynamite's been on for 250. We've been on for more because there's been times where like a beach break or blood and guts.
Yeah.
I won't necessarily. I'll forget to, I guess, number it. It won't be an official number. It'll just be like, oh, we're the blood and guts episode.
Yeah, like the Friday night fights and flights or flights and fights. And
we're definitely over 200 episodes, I would say. But also, if you see this Dynamite download sticker, if you want one, I will gladly mail them to you free of charge. All you gotta do is send us an email, dynamitedownloadshow@gmail.com, and or message us on Twitter or Instagram, and I will gladly mail you stickers to support Team Dynamite Download. So anytime, send us a DM, and I'll gladly mail you a sticker.
Absolutely, and I know that there's benefits for people that join the Dynamite Club Gold, the Dynamite Club. If you want to join and be a member, exclusive, cool stuff that we haven't come up with yet. But yeah, it's going to be get exclusive emojis. But there's all kinds of cool stuff.
So, Bud, how was your trip to Chicago? You just missed an awesome show live in Chicago.
I know. We tried to time. We actually tried to time it, but it was all right. We had to miss it, but still. It was a tremendous trip. We had a lot of fun. We actually were able to watch some of the of wrestling while we were there. We got to catch the Dynamite from before, but we were home and we got settled back in and we got to watch last night's Dynamite. And I got to say, although it was really easy for me to do the rankings because there was only 3 matches last night, and so. I don't know. It's I don't know. We'll have to double check it, but it's been pretty cool.
Well, you know that
yeah,
they didn't really announce much moving forward. What matches are going to happen, but Rampage is always good for a 3 to 4 match type of night. Some quality matches, some squash, and then Collision. That's where the real matches happen. And before we throw up the most recent rankings. I mean, that Dynamite episode for only having 3 matches was just top notch. I was, especially that ending, I was just marking out. And as the progression of the first match was going, I think it was a home run. And if you sit back and analyze 3 matches, that's it. But so much happened, and it was such a home run episode of Dynamite. And
big time.
Wow.
And usually sometimes you'll see 3 matches, but you figure there's going to be some back and forth. There might be like another match, like, hey, right here, right now, we're going to do this.
Sure,
but
one of those unannounced.
Those 3 matches, and granted, the first match going the distance like it did, and we'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, for a night that only had 3 matches, so much went on. But before we get to that, let's why don't we check in a little bit with the draft rankings?
Let's do it.
And there we go. Not much of a shift, but
no
shift in the right places there. Bobby cracking the 20s.
Yeah,
it's a gunfight between Full Tilt Deb and SBD. And Bobby's right. He's nipping at both y'all's heels. Brian at 31 points. Again, we know Brian is playing fair. He's not being a carny. We know he's not tapping the inside information he may or may have with a certain Thunder Rosa. We're not implying anything at all. We're proud and happy for Brian to be in first place with such a distinct lead.
So I'm reading some chat. Thank you everyone for joining us. This is still a marathon. We still have over a month of wrestling to get at, and anything could happen after our +3 that we did last weekend, adding some fresh talent to the team. This is anybody's ball game, and the way the card is shaping out for All In, that could really be down to the wire. And I don't know. I'm still liking my team. I'm not liking the way things turned out yesterday. I was 0 for 2 on my points. Out of 3 matches, I had two wrestlers going toe to toe. But we'll see. I still love my team.
I do. I've got some ringers that I'm hoping will give me some points there. I'm waiting for Camille Brickhouse to show up. She's probably not that I picked her. Also Ricochet, his opinion, he may not debut until after All Out though. Watch that happen. But FTR is back, so my number 1 and number 2 picks are back. I don't know when they're going to wrestle, but hopefully soon. But what an incredible Dynamite! Just incredible night all around. 250.
I know, it's weird to say that. It's great to say that too.
Remember when Dynamite was debuting? It was the first night. It was one of those things. Let's see what happens, and now they're at 250. Tremendous.
And it's a fast 250 to me. I mean, the how quickly we got here from when it first culminated. And I sent you guys the posters of the first one. I wish I should have put that up there. The first episode of Dynamite versus what we got now. I know this was not a jam-packed card whatsoever by any means, but it's, doesn't matter. Quality over quantity. And you have some of the OGs on here, and just some fantastic stuff, really, really big name superstars going at it here. Like the 3 matches are pay-per-view quality matches, 100%.
Yeah.
You have,
hands down.
Champion versus champion. You have former world champion versus current international champion. You have current champion versus former champion. So it's like everyone who's wrestled has had gold or has gold in AEW in some form. And
you could almost argue that this could have been a battle of the belts.
Yeah.
Except no, it couldn't be, because one title changed hands. And that's one of the things about Battle of the Belts is no titles ever change hands.
Yeah, you're right.
That one time.
You're absolutely right. But you know what? We have to talk about the elephant in the room, the first match of the night. Will by God Ospreay versus our scumbag. Well, he's not necessarily our scumbag anymore. He's just a POS MJF. We'll keep the 3 initials going with that. But it really, really, really surprised me. When they didn't go to commercial for the first 20, 25 minutes, I was like, yeah, okay, this is going. And their announce team did a great job of kind of subtle hints. And then when we hit a second commercial 40 minutes in, I'm like, this is going to be a draw. I think this is legitimately going to be a draw. That would have been I didn't think about that. You don't typically, both guys, I mean, anytime you go 60, that's got to just be insane for any wrestler. And all of the 60-minute matches or close to 60-minute matches in AEW have been absolute bangers.
Yeah.
Absolute. There was not a low moment of this match. And just when you think of like, okay, are these guys fatigued? They go on these back and forth little just boom, 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 high spot, high spot, high spot, trading pins, trading this, reverse, and counter. Like it was just nonstop this whole 60. And anytime I see MJF in the ring, I become more of appreciate him more and more because of the things like this he does. And the match he had with Darby Allin was one of the ones that really impressed me the most with him many years ago at a pay-per-view. And tonight, I still think Ospreay is the better wrestler, yes, but I think this story that he told last night was just top-notch stuff.
Yep. I guess I still need to put this on. I still do.
Someone's got to be the mark.
Somebody's got to be the mark. But I got to say, and I remember a couple things on this. First of all, I think, was it you or somebody posted the 4 matches that AEW has had that went 60 minutes.
Yeah.
And MJF was in 2 of them. Bryan Danielson was in 2 of them.
Yeah.
And it was like MJF going the distance with Will Ospreay, and the fact that they still had the energy to do the spots they did towards the end was insane.
Incredible.
I feel like this was, like you said, this was pay-per-view quality, but what a great way to establish a solid rivalry. And it was funny too, because even the announcers, the commentators, they were surprised how far along. They thought it was only like 30 minutes or 20 minutes in, and it was actually like 40. And they surprised themselves how long the match was. But I felt like there was so much artistic, things that were done here. They're whispering that they nailed it. That they killed it. The crowd was on their feet the whole time. The crowd was really excited about it. I lean over to Deb. I say, I hope this doesn't go to a draw, because there needs to be a definitive winner here, one way or the other. Somebody needs to win, because if it goes draw, I felt like that would actually be more disappointing. I think the right move, is MJF winning, because now Will's got the hunt, and I feel like this is setting us up. Exactly what I was going
to say.
Yeah, go ahead. You say this is setting us up for what?
For the build. I mean, so it is so much more fun for anybody, I feel like, whether you're watching a movie or watching or supporting wrestling, for the good guy to chase the bad guy. And it's
I love this picture, by the way.
Yeah. That's the good guy chasing the bad guy, because that's the ultimate payoff. A bad guy chasing a good guy is exciting in and of itself, but it's not really like the moment that you necessarily want to see, because when the good guy ultimately gets to that bad guy, and MJF plays such a great cat and mouse game. Will Ospreay maybe trying to get his rematch, going to go talk to TK and CD and be like, he cheated, and MJF's like, you're gonna have to earn this, you're gonna have to do this. So he's gonna have to fight and kick and crawl for his rematch, and then you'll get that. And Bobby, you mentioned, what do you do at All In? This is to me, this is a perfect rematch at All In, because you have, even though it would be a short run for MJF, but you have this just number one heel, and then you're going to pin him against one of the number one baby faces to have your ultimate confetti moments at All In. So you don't get a confetti moment if you are a champion baby face beating a heel. You get your confetti moment when you're a baby face beating a champion heel.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Yes.
I know exactly. No, I know it's exactly. That's the thing too. Is now, it's been done before, but it works. It works. You're gonna have, MJF's gonna put Ospreay through the trials of Hercules. He's gonna have to do all. He's gonna have to go all these things, go through all these hoops, and it's been nice, Robert. Absolutely, and he's gonna have to really survive. He's have to go survive all these hoops. He's gonna have. There's going to be all kinds of things going on, and MJF is going to be classic MJF. But I love that, as heel as MJF is, as scumbag as he is, he did go toe to toe with Will Ospreay, and Will Ospreay is undeniably one of, if not the best wrestler in the AEW roster, arguably.
100%.
And so that in itself is creating such a tremendous build for this.
Right.
And I think that, we're going to see, Bobby brings up a very interesting point. Is Pac number one contender? Are we going to see Pac and MJF? Could we see overbooking with Mindrunner, of course? Could we see a three-way dance for the Intercontinental and National Breakfast title? MJF versus Will Ospreay versus Pac in Wembley.
That's a good point because, first question answered. No, I don't want to see a three-way match because this feud is too good on its own.
Yeah.
Second, yes, Pac earned that title shot. He did. And so that's a great point, so like where does he go from there? Does he, since Ospreay is due for a rematch and Pac is a title shot, do they fight it out to be the number one contender? No, that kind of like softens it after winning that fatal four-way that Pac just recently won. So what path do you put Pac in leading into All In? So that's a very interesting point in where that's going to go. Because if Ospreay isn't in the hunt to get revenge on MJF, then where is he going to focus on? Like what? This seems like so much meat left on the bones.
Oh, absolutely. And, I hope Pac gets some kind of Wembley moment too.
Agree. As he deserves
it. We
were preaching for him to win the tournament. Is
it possible? All right, this is just fancy booking because MJF can feud with anybody.
Yeah.
What if Pac beats MJF and it's Pac versus Ospreay at Wembley?
I don't think
the heel,
the history of MJF's title reigns in the past. He's gonna escape defending that as much as possible.
You're right. He's gonna put him through
I guarantee his next defense will not be until All In.
So
he's gonna escape it as much as possible, fake an injury, whatever it may be. But that's the scumbag. That's why we can appreciate him and respect him so much, because he's crafted his scumbagness and his heel work so well, and really just showing how great he is in the ring too. Proving this last night on Dynamite, and he endorsed Dynamite download, so he's got some good taste. That's for sure. We know that.
Yeah, absolutely, he's got great taste in podcasts. But let's talk about the Will Ospreay storylines that still have meat on the bone aside from MJF. He's clearly turning his back on the Callis family,
right?
And so much so that even Callis dropped a couple lines like these dumbass Brits, which that was clearly meant for Will Ospreay. So I don't think the Callis family's done with Will, giving a little bit of retribution here. So that could be something that maybe MJF gets the Callis family to be that hurdle for him to go through. I would love to see Will Ospreay. Now I've got
you can't even see it.
You can't see this because of green screen. But
I know exactly what that is, Roosh.
You know what this is? This is green screen, but the cord. The green
cable made famous by Roosh.
Roosh. So
That's
I would
funny.
love to see some Roosh versus Ospreay action that in the coming up, and I think that would be tremendous. But
if
it's going to be.
I mean, I don't know. Like as much as like on paper I'd want to see it, I don't want to see a triple threat for the international title, because unless you do the triple threat and let's say Pac wins, gets the title, which I'd be happy for, then you run the one-on-one rematch at All Out.
Yeah, there you go.
I think that could be a win-win. I
would like that. And here's the thing: if it's the only triple threat match on the card, I don't want they've already. If you just look at the matches that are already booked for All In, it's a tremendous card. They're going to stuff it with everything else, with all kinds of other stuff. And I don't mean that in a bad way.
No,
but like, there's going to be some other tremendous matches. So if they did the triple threat and then the winner of that faces at All Out, the winner of that faces one of those two, you could have that moment where Pac or Will Ospreay wins the title, but then at All Out, something else goes down. So there's a number of things that can happen with that.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. Time will tell. As we did a month or so ago, we kind of predicted our All Out card or All In cards, which honestly, I don't even remember. I'd have to go back and look at it. But we are, I don't think we have a match. Maybe we predicted DMDs in Mercedes or not. I don't know, but most of the ones we predicted are not that.
I think we predicted Hayter.
Oh, okay.
I think we had Hayter, I think we had Hayter versus Tony Storm though.
Yeah.
Which, if we're going to talk about the Mercedes match, in the masked person that we all saw in the corner, totally. Whenever you see somebody with a mask on in that little area, it's somebody. And I kept trying to
talk about these two segments right here. Yeah,
absolutely. The only thing I'll say, I wish there was more of a buildup with the Nyla Rose feud because she is a former champion. And, the whole thing with the TBS title, she had that whole hilarious feud with Jade where she stole the belt. I think I know that Tony wanted to have a marquee women's match for Dynamite 250, and you can't pull the trigger on anything with Tony and Mariah at this point because of what just happened. So I get it. I understand why. And Nyla is a gatekeeper for a lot of the belts around here. You win a belt, you got to face Nyla at some point. I just wish there's a little more buildup. I do like that they're letting Nyla be more Nyla than she used to be. She's embracing her Twitter personality a lot more. When Mercedes tried some move on her and says, "Are you out of your damn mind?" That's the Nyla I want to see. And but again, I felt like it was a marquee match. I think the ladies delivered. Considering what we watched just before this match, there's no way it was going to compete with what we just saw. But I will say this too: the crowd was really fired up for the whole show. There were a couple of moments I think towards the end that they were getting fatigue. I don't blame them, but I felt like the match was great. I don't think Nyla, even though Nyla tapping out, I don't think takes away from Nyla. I think she's still the native beast. But this was a great cap. This was a great feather in Mercedes' cap. But again, the aftermath is what they were building up for as well.
I think the whole segment worked. Still, we always say this, and I remember when Crayfish first said this, it was really spot on, like you just said, the gatekeeper. And when that bell rang, you could see a little fear in Mercedes' eyes.
Yeah,
like you almost is like, this is the beast that I have to slay right now. This is what I'm up against. And then she sure enough did. And I loved that the way that they're building this DMD feud. I think this has been one of the most perfect builds so far, and it's still in its infancy, and we're going to get more and more of it. And you called it. You saw the masked Sting, and then you see the sign that DMD is better than the CEO, of course. But hey, even if it's predictable, it's still great.
There was a moment, and then until I got a better look and I saw it, but there was a moment I was like, what if it's not Britt? What if it's Jamie Hayter?
Oh, gosh.
The pop would be tremendous. But I think, once we got a better look at the build, we're like, okay, that's definitely Britt. But going back to, to your point, and this is one of the things I think that really shows how Mercedes Moné stands out. And I'm becoming more of a fan than I thought I would with her. Because up until she started wrestling, I was starting to get burned out with her. I was starting to be like, okay, you're a lot of talk. Who are you? But let's get going. But one of the things I noticed that she does is she understands the ring psychology and selling. From the moment Nyla's music hit, and when the bell rang, to your point, she reacted to, like, she realized, hey, this is going to be a match. She might be in over her head with Nyla. And again, my favorite moment of the match was are you out of your damn mind? That kind of stuff. But like that was, Mercedes play, I'm not going to say exactly, but she's kind of a Darby. She gets thrown around, and she's really good at selling. And and I think that was Nyla's great at breaking bitches. So I think this was a great pair up. But definitely, I feel like I'm starting to have a lot more respect for Mercedes in her reaction. She's not the best female wrestler. She's not the best as far as just in ring. But when you look at the total package, which includes with promos and ring psychology, and now that she's been, exactly, Okada, careful, you know that Okada's gonna like it, be careful. If you do that dance too much, you're gonna get the Okada. The Okada.
There's so many layers that happened with the women's division last night, and it was great. And as you're talking about Mercedes, like, first off, the backstage elite stuff, the elite pairing with the CEO, almost kind of forming this like super group.
Yep,
has been really welcomed, and I think it's a great pairing. Like, if the elite and the CEO really kind of help each other out, and you see them start to align more and more and more, I think it'll be just that much more fun for us all, because the elite are doing top-notch stuff. Oh my gosh, can't say great enough stuff. I cannot say enough great things about what's going on with the elite. And Okada, for him to be sweating profusely when the CEO is on screen right now. I mean, as you have pointed out week in and week out, the character work that Okada has just been really fantastic stuff. But the return of the DMD has been so welcomed with open arms and needed. It has been fantastic. She looks fantastic. She looks like she's ready to rip Mercedes' head off. This match that's going to culminate at All In is just going to be a marquee match for the ages for sure. OG versus a future Hall of Famer, essentially, in the biz, going toe-to-toe at Wembley is going to be a home run.
And Britt did an interview recently, I think it was with Renee Paquette, where she talked about that Mercedes coming to AEW motivated her to return. It was a motivation because she knew, obviously we know Britt Baker watches Dynamite Download. Thank you, Britt, DMB.
Yes.
Because we've been wanting this match, this Mercedes Moné Britt Baker match for some time. And I'm sure other people may have mentioned it, but we've been really clamoring for this matchup. And just, of course, this is just a statement to the Thunder Army. I am a card-carrying member of the Thunder Army. I love Thunder Rosa. We love Thunder Rosa here. Thunder Rosa is a holy name in our group here. You can be a Thunder Rosa Army member and also be a fan of DMD. You can separate those two. And so when I'm talking up Britt Baker, it's nothing on Thunder Rosa, because both are professionals. Thunder Rosa is a professional. She's shown she can, and I would love to see that come back if it's possible. I know not everybody can.
Well, you can also have a very, very, very close relationship with Thunder and pick a DMD to be on your fantasy team as well. But
almost
that's a whole other topic for another time right there.
Almost as if you had inside information.
But that being said, we have, and said this multiple times, and it's nice to hear Tony Khan himself echoing it.
Yeah.
His favorite feud, being one of the favorite matches in feud, is the Thunder Rosa Britt Baker feud. And to me, that 100% put AEW women on the map, period. Yep. Nothing else compares still to this date of how that feud was built, how it culminated, how it ended, and how long it was. And it was just chef's kiss the whole time.
If I could, this is not a hot take, but if I could just rant for a couple minutes about the AEW women's division. Okay, there we go. There's our hot take.
You could play that. I mean, it's your intro.
Well, let's. Here we go. Hot take time.
Also, let me go get a refill too. So
awesome. Hot take time. Okay. The AEW women's division. When it started, here's the thing that, a lot of people were bashing AEW's women's division, but here's the hot take. When AEW started, the men's division had Chris Jericho. You had Cody. You had the Elite. You had Kenny Omega. You had, Moxley came in. You had all these well-established male wrestlers where the young guys, the pillars that we talk about, could rise up. In the women's division, though, they struggled because for a while they weren't sure who was going to be their lead. For a while, they actually were pushing Allie. The Bunny was actually going to be their female, Cody for a minute. Didn't quite work out. They were still trying to figure that out. Riho, of course, became the champion, but then again, it was hard for her to be present all the time. Nyla was a great choice to take the title from her. But what we also got to see is the evolution of Britt Baker. And she kind of was a great litmus test too, or not litmus test, but a personification of the growth of the women's division. In that first run, that first step was Britt Baker going from Britt Baker babyface to the DMD role model. And I think actually the best thing was when she got hurt, but she still played this character. That was such a great, when she got me when she said chubby Whataburger faces, I was done. I was like, this is perfect for her. That was the first run. Then, if you recall, Hikaru Shida challenged for the NWA title to who was the champion in NWA? Oh, yeah, Thunder Rosa, which was my first introduction to Thunder Rosa. And immediately I was like, we need her in AEW ASAP. She was still in NWA at the time. And with Serena Deeb, that was a great feud there too. But, and I think if you remember, there was a big bidding war. Is Thunder going to stay with an NWA? She's going to go to WWE. They wanted her to be a ref. Can you imagine what a ugh, don't even want to think about that. But when Thunder came to AEW, that was the next level. That was the next level up to the women's division. So you got Britt Baker, role model, then Thunder Rosa. And Thunder Rosa came in and raised the bar again. Now, I'm not knocking the talent that was there, but Thunder came in like thunder and lightning. And not only did that, but if you remember at the time, especially the pandemic era, she was bringing in all Thunder Rosa people. Like she was bringing that. We saw Maddie Rinkowski. A lot of the Mission Pro wrestlers were coming in. Willow, Sky Blue later on. Rochelle Chanel, Holiday. She would bring in for the dark matches. And some of those folks were like, Kylan King. There was a lot of these female wrestlers that Thunder was able to bring in and elevate the whole thing. Plus, she was able to work and build up all these matches. And then, like you said, they had the lights out match between Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker. And that was the first time there was anything that epic on the women's division at AEW.
By
the
far.
Blood and Hardcore and those ladies, and say what you want about the behind the scenes drama, whatever, those ladies brought it. And you had Mick Foley talking about it. You had so many people talk. That was the highlight. And that was the next level for the women's division. And not to keep going, but just after that, boom, boom, there were things that happened. You did tag match, Ty J versus the Bunny and Penelope Ford hardcore match. You had all these things, and then all these other signings, things, elevation here, the introduction of the TBS title. Say what you want about Jade Cargill, but that was such a smart move to put the TBS title on her.
Agreed.
And then look at Julia Hart now for how far she's come. You look at the elevation of some of the big players in AEW. Jamie Hayter's another example too, because she wrestled Britt Baker in the first season of Dynamite, and she was totally not the same wrestler she is today. She was a little bit thicker. She had this weird kind of half hair thing, and she did a wet willy on Britt Baker. That's what stood out to me. But now Jamie Hayter now is like, she's championship material, and when you hear her music, it's going to pop. So, and now where we are today with Mercedes Moné coming in, and Mercedes Moné would not come to AEW if she didn't feel like it was going to benefit her. And the landscape, not just with the women's division, but wrestling in whole with AEW, and now the rise of TNA, as TNA is starting to get a lot more recognized. The landscape for wrestlers right now is tremendous. It's so great to be a fan, but it's got to be tremendous to be a talent as well, because you have options. You have options out there to get seen. But the women's division itself, I feel like, has completely elevated in AEW, and it's thanks to Britt Baker, Thunder Rosa. I would argue that Willow and Sky Blue have had a hand in it. I've 180 on Sky Blue. Julia Hart's transformation. There's been, and Mercedes Moné coming in. I think all of these have added.
Rhodes.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. I think the rise of all of this female talent has been tremendous. And I think it's a testament to the hard work the ladies have been putting in. I'd love to see some more. I agree with Bobby. I'd love to see Penelope Ford back. I was hoping we would see Rio more frequently. I wish Sheeta would stay longer. We need more Nyla. And I'd like to, it's a shame the bunny left. She has her reasons, but I felt like she was a compelling character too. And I would have loved to see what she could do, but I'm excited. I think the AEW women's division's on fire right now. And you got to highlight Toni Storm, timeless Toni Storm. Right when I felt like the Outcast thing was falling apart, and I was like, where are they going? And what a fail. But timeless Toni Storm, which I understand RJ City is like helping her write a lot of these ideas.
Right.
The Toni Storm transformation and this whole All About Mariah, All About Eve parallel has been so captivating to watch as a fan. And this turn, everything that's going on, I think it's tremendous. And I'm just super excited, not just where this feud is going, but where the women's division is going to continue to go. What are we going to see when we get to Full Gear? And there's rumors that a certain Rebecca Quinn might down the line show up at AEW. Wouldn't that be something?
That would be something, that's for sure. That would be pretty marquee as well. I know you're very passionate about the women's division, and a lot of our listeners are as well, which is great. But there is absolutely not a but there is absolutely no doubting that this is the best women's division time right now, this era we're in of AEW, that since its culmination. By far the depth, we're talking multiple storylines, we're talking multiple talent being used week in and week out, and then ones that are not even being used that have, main event potential. It's fun. It's great. It's needed and welcomed. And I can't wait to see this new turn on Mariah May and what she's going to be doing moving forward, because the brutal attack on Toni Storm last week and coming out to the Toni Storm theme song and doing all this. And I'm excited. It's just going to be just really, really the road to All In on many different levels and layers. It's like we're talking, I love a good 7-layer dip. This is going to be like a 15-layer dip going to All In because of all the different stories that are building that are going to come to a head.
And I don't want to hear any complaints. I don't want to hear any complaints about this card being too long, because for me, Forbidden Door was awesome. Was well paced. I enjoyed every minute of it. If you had a problem, you could always pause it. Real quick, just to answer Full Tilt Deb's question, I think she's some Irish wrestler.
I know her. She's one of my cousins.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly. She's one of your Irish cousins there. There you go.
Yeah, we got the same Clover tattoo.
To your point, too, about just real quick before we dive into the rest of the All-In card, another thing to notice about the AEW Women's Division, I believe you were saying that this incarnation of the AEW Women's Division is the best that they've had, and we don't have everybody back. I mean, you bring Jamie Hayter back in, it is by far the best incarnation. But I've noticed that Collision is booking now 2 women's matches a week instead of just the one. So I think that's a test. That's a sign. That's a sign that there are eyes and attention to this, plus the segments. I think there's a lot going on with that. But you're absolutely right. I am all in for this all-in 7-layer dip. In fact, I think we're gonna make that here. We're gonna make 7-layer dip for we're gonna make 15-layer dip for
the 15-layer SPD dip for
there you go.
For the all-in show.
Raz.
You know, a little out of order, but I mean, no specific, but champion versus champion. This right here, when this was announced, this is a marquee match anywhere in the world. And so, honestly, you have such an awesome card set. Like this being the marquee match, you know, it just was a taste. You know, we barely got enough. We got like one commercial break, and then, you know, you're running out of time. Then the Elite come in and ruin it for everyone. But you, unfortunately, for us fans, we got robbed of this match. I feel like we got robbed of this match. We only got just a little teaser. We got like the appetizer and like a whiff of the main course coming out of the kitchen.
Yeah,
there's so much more to be had with these two guys moving forward. So I would love to have this revisited. We're going to get a little more taste of it at Blood and Guts next week, but one-on-one, I want to see where this goes, because you have, you know, whether they're champion or versus champion or not, you're talking 2 top-level wrestlers toe-to-toe globally. I want to see that happen. But, you know, the big story was everything that happened after the match, you know, the interruption and, you know, the culmination of what Team AEW is going to look like and all that. So what did you think of the match itself, of what we got, before we talk about post-match?
Well, to quote Daddy Magic, like you said, we got a taste.
Yeah.
We got a taste. Okada can advise. I love the great signs, by the way.
Whoever made these, props to you. Great job trolling Okada all match.
Gmail@okada.com that made me laugh. All of it was great. Again, like you said, this was a pay-per-view level match. This was tremendous. And I'm glad that I actually like of the 2 men's matches, this was the one that I felt like should end in a disqualification or a count out or something like that, because to set up Blood and Guts. You got to set up Blood and Guts. It's next week.
That's a marquee show.
It's a marquee show, and this was good, and this ended exactly the way it should. But I love that we did get a taste of what an Okada versus Swerve championship match would look like, but they didn't give us the whole thing.
Right.
They gave us a taste. They gave us the sampler platter, if you will, versus the entree. And I think this is an entree that after All In, we could see. You know, we could see Okada maybe making a play down the line. I think there's other folks. I will say this, though. Hangman walking down eye to eye to Swerve.
Gosh.
The chill, like that was one of those moments. Now, granted, I miss the old Hangman music, but this right here, dude.
I have to, first off, I have to say, yes, I do miss the old Hangman music. This one's growing on me.
Yeah,
it's growing, but I do love Hangman's theme song. It's so great as fans and as the community, how we do not forget how amazing this feud was and is. The face-to-face that we almost got last night in the ring would have been epic. And when they go toe-to-toe inside that steel cage with the double ring, that place is going to go bonkers.
All right.
Now, are they going to be, you know, the first 2 in there? What is it going to be? I think that it's going to be interesting booking that. But there is so much more meat left on this feud. Even though we felt like there was almost a conclusion, like that could have been it. You know, the visual of Hangman getting hung with the chain and losing to Swerve, like that could have been the storybook ending. But it is far from over, it seems like. And I'm all here for this long feud because it's money.
It's 100%. Take my money, please. And I love this because Swerve and Hangman are kind of the Stone Cold and Rock right now, or the Undertaker, Mankind, whatever you want to call it. But this is like, we got to taste, like you said, we got to taste. And I love that we're still keeping this. And Hangman has gone heel because of Swerve. Like Swerve
pushed him to that edge.
Yeah, which gives him that exactly. He's changed him, and like I was sitting there smiling because the way that when you mentioned it, like how would you book the Blood and Guts? Do you have Swerve and Hangman the first two, or do you save that moment for later on? Have them the last two and have them face each other after everyone else has been beat up?
Yeah, I think honestly, just to preserve the champion's health, not that Swerve couldn't go, but
yeah,
we have seen, and I've witnessed Blood and Guts last year live in Detroit, the fact that the toll that this match could have on people.
Yeah.
I saw Santana get injured and be out for, almost a year. So it's inevitable something may happen. And to protect Swerve, behind the scenes, in a sense, saving him for maybe the last or second to last person, and Hangman being the last person, and that coming, Ed will just revive the match.
Yeah.
Like that's the face-to-face everyone wants to see.
Yes.
Like Darby's going to go crazy. Everyone's going to go crazy. Briscoe's going to go crazy and do some high spots. Darby's going to do something off the top of the cage. We all know that. And it's just they crash test dummy Darby, which we can all appreciate. But I think what's going to reignite the crowd even to the next level is the face-to-face with Hangman and Swerve.
Yep. And we're going to get that moment. There's going to be a moment where they're in the ring. They haven't seen each other yet. And there's going to be they're beat up. And then there's going to be that face-to-face. And you're going to be like,
100%.
Oh. Now, Full Tilt Deb made a very good point last night. They had a missed opportunity. It would have been pretty awesome if they kept Darby on the line, and then Briscoe pushed him, and he drop kicked like a swinging Darby on
like
the
a
line,
ball.
like tetherball Darby,
Tetherball,
and have him just kick people, and I think that would have been pretty awesome. Then he grabs like Okada and bites him or something. I think
yeah. I think that's actually a hilarious point.
Yeah. Courtney thinks Darby's going to break himself again. I think he's already broken. He's a crash test dummy. I mean, you're right. I think he's going to just, who knows what he's going to do.
He's going to go off the top of the cage.
Yep. That's what I was going to say. He's going to be on top of the cage.
Going to somehow do something through the cage or something wild. But how do you feel about Team AEW?
Okay. I feel like I'm gonna the nitpick before the awesomeness. The nitpick is I feel like the Acclaimed have been kind of lost in direction, and this is good that they've got a direction. I think Bowens is going to be tremendous in this. I think Bowens is going to be great. Max in a hardcore match. Okay, let me take it away from a nitpick and just a hope. I hope we really get to see Max Caster shine in this match. I hope he doesn't just become a jobber or some fodder. I want him to have some moments for himself. Anthony Bowens is a tremendous athlete. I think there's going to be a point where he may go singles. I don't know, but I think he's tremendous. But I really hope that Max Caster gets a chance to shine and also kind of shut up some of the haters too, because he is a tremendous wrestler. But there's a lot of haters out there that are upset with him for a number of stupid reasons, and I think that's been pulling him, and I think it's been affecting his self-confidence. So I hope they give Max an opportunity to shine. Having said that, the other three, freaking Mark Briscoe he was born for this kind of match. I mean, the spirit, Jay's spirit, I hope after this match they continue to develop him and Kyle O'Reilly. I'd love to see him take Kyle O'Reilly under his wing and do kind of like a Mr. Miyagi and Danielson, kind of teach him the art of redneck kung fu. I think Kyle O'Reilly needs to start dressing in camouflage, like in a bandana. I really think there's a lot to that. Darby, of course, I mean, he's the crash test dummy. Absolutely. This is his gig. And you can't have Team AEW without the AEW champion. And, Swerve has shown he can definitely, hang with those in a
Right.
blood and guts style match. So I think you're going to see some ruthlessness from Swerve. That's one, kayfabe, Swerve, his diabolical mind's going to come up with all kinds of ways to inflict pain. Kayfabe aside, Swerve Strickland, the talent, always is finding new ways to do cool stuff. And I know that the think tank, and he's talking, all of these guys on both sides have got they probably have a group, a 10-person group text where they're just shooting ideas to each other, going, hey, what if we do this? What if we do this? What if we do that? And we're going to see some moments. We're going to see some moments from all of these guys where we're just going to be OMG and flip out.
I think Team AEW is really going to surprise us. I mean, the way it so last minute formed, it's going to be interesting how their chemistry, but honestly, like the way the momentum is of Team Elite and the chemistry they have and the way that they're clicking on all cylinders. And I think we're still on the path of them being unstoppable. Yeah. I think them winning is the right call.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see them just be this really, really dominant NWO style, just like take no prisoners faction, and really continue and just constantly just beat people up, constantly win matches and matches and matches, and just slow build that for someone to be able to, for Kenny to come back. Like you need someone like Kenny Omega to come back and really dismantle the Elite. Like that would be like the cream of the crop to me.
The cream of the crop.
Against
the cream
anyone on Team AEW, because I would love to see Darby versus Jack at All In, which is kind of rumored to see. If we see the tag team titles match at Acclaim versus Young Bucks at All In, great. All wins for that. Hangman, where does he go? I don't know with what's he's going to do for All In, but I would love to see Kenny Omega return at All In to set up the dismantle of the Elite or the demise of the Elite.
That would
be a monstrous pop.
I can see that
his music hits.
You made a comparison to the NWO, and I cringed for a second because the one thing I don't want the Elite to do is just start recruiting everybody.
No,
NWO got really crazy there for a while. But one of the things I think there's great about the NWO was great. I mean, the Hulk Hogan turning heel was tremendous. But the NWO was a great heel faction, but they really became the storyline for me really got interesting when DDP turned them down. And that actually gave DDP such a boost. I mean, he was already popular, but with that moment when he turns them down, when he knocks down Scott Hall and Kevin Nash goes flying over and he oversells the table spot. But DDP became the people's hero. And I think that's the thing. And that's why the Elite, the Elite being these heels, it sets up for this baby face balance. And the pop when Kenny comes back, when you hear that battle cry, I mean, it's going to be insane. And if that happens at All In, I just hope that Kenny's healthy. But
yes, that's all.
If Kenny shows up and is involved with whatever happens, it's going to be off the chain. And
I would love, selfishly booking, as I said, Kenny Omega makes a surprise appearance at All In, comes, takes down the Elite, saves whoever they're dismantling and beating up. Then he cuts a promo saying he's cleared and he wants to fight it all out. that'll immediately put All Out in such a huge marquee moment to want to follow up with a 2 week, later pay-per-view. It's hard, the closeness of the pay-per-views, and they're starting to separate them a little bit. I feel like this year it's not back-to-back as quick, even though it's 2 weeks. That being said, I think a moment like that would be very memorable in a night like at Wembley.
Yes.
Whew. Before we wrap up for episode 135, a wise man had a lot of wise words to say.
Hi, guys.
Hi. TV time with Chris Jericho. It wouldn't be a Dynamite without Chris Jericho. Started out early on in all the early Dynamites, and he's going to be on every Dynamite till Dynamite 500. He said so. We're going to get plenty of TV time from the Learning Tree himself, Chris Jericho.
I'm changing my band's name to Fozzie Nina Ray.
These segments are always really funny. And I think it was perfectly placed as well. You kind of like let people digest that awesome 60-minute match, give us a little comedic relief, have Jericho set up a future match, and give him his TV time that he well deserves from the Learning Tree. Because we are learning a lot every single week. Not only are we entertained, we're getting educated every single week.
I'm a branch.
Yeah,
I am a branch of the Learning Tree.
I need to water my branch.
Yes, water the branches, because under the Learning Tree, we are learning so much.
We need to keep growing every single week. So drink plenty of water so your branches will grow on the Learning Tree. What do you think of the match that he's going to have coming up?
Oh, with Suzuki, it's going to be the slaughter. But are we going to see the return of Sammy Guevara? And are we going to get Sammy versus Jericho at All In?
You think Sammy versus Jericho or Sammy with Jericho?
Well, I think Sammy's going to come in, and the assumption is that he's going to join the tree. But I think he's going to turn. I think
Sammy works so much better as a babyface.
Yeah. And I think that's might be where we're heading. By the way, shout out to Red. Red Big Bill, Large William. We're big fans of him. But Brian Keith is the reinvention of Brian Keith as kind of like a Mr. T. Like it's the look on his face. You respect Chris Jericho. Like, it's such a great gimmick. I'm so happy for Brian Keith. And people hate on Jericho. I know that Courtney's not a big fan, but she calls it the Leaning Tree. But what he's doing for Big William and Brian Keith is tremendous, because they're really fleshing out their character. They're getting to shine, and I'm excited to see what happens with them going forward. So it's great.
I mean, I have to say, you're spot on, but we all are in agreement here that when we first saw Brian Keith in AEW, we were very impressed. And all the matches and opportunities he got, we were excited to see more and more of. Now that he's paired with the Learning Tree and learning every single week and getting more and more TV time and opportunity, it's fantastic. I can't wait to see him more in the ring. The guy is shining, and his character work is spot on. I mean, it's absolutely great. And it's one of those, it's like, there's this song, I like this, one of his lyrics, it says, "Give me a chance to shine and I'll blind the world." And I feel like Brian Keith is one of those guys where it's like, give him a chance to shine and he's going to soar. And I feel like he's taking his moments and shining. And Big Bill used one of our famous lines we say on Dynamite, maximizing your minutes. And that's what they're doing. Every one of them are maximizing their minutes.
Now, SBD, I maximize minutes too, but there's another song that I like. And it actually says, "What have I become now that I've betrayed everyone that they pushed them all away? And I have been a slave to the Judas in my mind. Is there nothing left of me to save the wreckage of my mind? I become the Judas in my mind."
That is right.
Artistry.
Yes, well done, Mind Runner. Well done. On that note, folks, we're going to end. We just hit an hour mark right on the dot right there. That it was like the finale there.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for joining. Great crowd tonight in the chat. We love hearing from you. And we'll throw that up. Courtney, one more time, we'll throw up the most recent standings on our Dynamite Download Season 3 draft. Yep. This is the most recent standings as we start to as we go. Show the credits, roll the credits as we're going. Tune in next week for episode 136. We appreciate y'all for coming out, and a lot of wrestling in store. You know, we don't have much announced for Collision other than the new trios champions, because no one's the champion. It's a vacant title, so whoever wins is going to be the new champion for the trios belt. So you got the Collision Cowboys of Bang Bang Gang going against the Patriarchy, and we'll see who wins this one. So thank you all for coming out. We appreciate it.
That's right, SBD.
Oh no!
Of course, you know who that trios champions are gonna be. I'll keep this quick because I know we want to go, and I've got to pee. I pee in the ring like a dog. But hey, I just want you to know, Rock Hard is going to be one of the trios champions while
That's
Switchblade
right.
gets himself right. Anyways, have a great night, everybody.
There he is. He's going to go pee like a dog. All right, folks. Have a great night. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you. And like I said, if anyone wants a sticker, send us an email, send us a DM message, and I'll mail them out to you to support the DD love. Thank you all.
Yeah, hit that merch button. We love y'all.
Because